Also, it's me, Arch. The main point of this video is for me to uninstall the game. Surprisingly, it's not entirely Amazon's fault. Like, they are mishandling the game crazily. Insane queue times, insane bot waves. They can't even set the Europe summertime right in the game. How hard is that? And on top of that, the game doesn't even work sometimes because there are all these small tiny maintenances during the day. But okay, I was able to survive the launch with all the problems. So this is not my issue that decided that I would actually stop the game. There are two main reasons. And I would probably kind of say that the largest fault when it comes to Amazon is that they haven't westernized the game at all. They were focused on black-facing Asian characters and on hiding the female bodies of the characters inside of the game and entirely ignored the main point that should have been westernized, and that's monetization and progression. I would even say they deliberately maybe decided to not westernize that because that seems like the main milking feature for them to exploit money from their customers. So they said, wow, people are gonna hate this, but we will make so much money, let's keep it in. Yeah, that's the main problem. Westernization. Let's get to the uninstalling. Here we go. Lost Ark, 779 hours. Yesterday I launched the game and the servers were offline because there were issues. Funnily enough, there was a critical issue and they decided to delay the patch, and then in 1 hour after all the outcry, they said it's fine. Well, apparently it was not fine. But no, I can actually handle this. This is not a problem. Okay, shit happens. This is fine. Main problem is with the game itself, that it is not westernized enough. So let's uninstall it. Here it is. I press this button and it's over. Lost Ark will lose Arch. Let's click on it. Well, alright, let's click on it. Yes, it's actually in check. Basically it says that I'm about to... Really, do you want title Lost Ark uninstalled from this computer? The title will stay in your library, but if you will change your mind and decide to launch it again, you will have to download all the content once more. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, the addiction is high, but let's do it. Yes. Goodbye, Lost Ark. Alright, now it's gone. It's over. I am free. Let's return to this screen. Now, the two reasons why I cannot play, why I cannot enjoy the game, and they come from Smilegate's design. Let's start with the largest one. The progression. The progression sucks for casual players like me. Basically, let's kind of conceptualize it. The way the progression works is you are supposed to play several characters and grind materials for your main character and then spend the materials on chances to upgrade your gear. Now, as a Western player, European, because when Amazon was westernizing the game, like I mentioned, the social issues at the start, that was Americanization, that was not westernization. Europeans do not care much about, naked women and racial issues that America faces. That's their problem. We care more about being rewarded for our effort, and RNG is not really rewarding. Basically, I will tell you my example. So I was in the dead zone, the best place in the game. Koreans kind of knew that the dead zone is bad because you lose players. Well, I'm inside of the dead zone and I have been lost. Good job, Amazon, keeping it in the game. Well, so I was there and I was trying to upgrade some kind of item to plus 12, I think. And it failed and failed and failed and failed and failed and failed and failed. It basically failed 8 times until I gathered all the artisan energy. And then I was out of materials to actually finish the hone. At that point, I was like, wow, if the game is such rubbish at this point, how bad it will be in later parts of the game. Yeah. Imagine all the hard work you put in collecting the materials, and then you face failure after failure, and eventually you cannot even finish it. That's brutal, and I'm afraid not many Western players are gonna like this. I do not like it. I mean, the concept itself perhaps could somewhat work, and I could probably get over it if it wasn't so brutal. Like, if there was, for example, artisan energy on second or third try, alright, it would seem kind of like rubbish, but it would be reasonable. But when you are catching up, leveling, newbie, catching up is the endgame content, and it already starts screwing up so much. That's batshit crazy. Like I mentioned in previous video, what I expected was that I would get to the endgame content, and then I would be able to waste materials to hone for fun because it would no longer matter. Just upgrade your gear for faster clear times or something like that. That's what I expected. It's not the case. The honing is rubbish. That's Smilegate's fault, not Amazon's. Amazon could have kind of improved it if they westernized the game, which they decided not to do. They even made it worse by not adding all the necessary content to get more materials for the upgrade. Now, what's even worse about all of this, that the progression is directly connected to pay to win. I'm not gonna call it pay to win, because that's actually not fair for pay to win. In pay to win, when you pay, you win. Lost Ark is more like pay to get a chance to win. You pay money, you buy gold, you trade it for upgrade materials, you get a chance to upgrade, but it can still screw up, and then you are kind of forced to pay more because you feel bad that you wasted the money on the try. It's basically more gambling on top of the pay to win. So yeah, I would really say it's even more toxic than pay to win itself. Like, people say Lost Ark is not pay to win. No, it's worse. So this is the main issue, that the progression is somewhat randomized. The disparity between the first step upgrade and the kind of artisan energy upgrade is too large, way too large. And nobody thought that it would be really kind of discouraging for especially new players to actually play with this system. Like, if they just let me to, do the chores in, hour and a half or 2, and then gave me time to just goof off inside of the game and do whatever, waste my time, I would happily buy skins, battle passes, and stuff like that. But no, it seems like they were kind of too much greedy, and perhaps the reason why they decided to port the game to the West in the first place is the, milking potential from the progression system, I would not be surprised. This might be the main reason why the game got to the West in the first place. So, this was the first main reason why I decided that the game is not for me. The second reason, it doesn't satisfy my MMORPG itch. It feels like single player game with a little bit of co-op here and there. And that's also kind of design fault. You are expected to grind and grind and grind endlessly, playing tons of characters. And that kind of creates issues for social part of the game. It's actually combined with the progression. Let me get to it. A little thing here. I haven't got to it, so I'll mention it here. The progression influences the social part by creating obstacles for friends and guildmates to play together because players progress at different pace. Now, of course, players, friends, guildmates can slow down and progress at the pace of the slowest member. It's possible, but unfortunately, that's unlikely. And when friends cannot play together, they are more likely to lose interest in the game because they wanted to play the game together in the first place, but it tears them apart, which is unfortunate. How should I start? So, the game has channels. Channels create issues for socialization because you don't see the same people multiple times, so it's hard to create connection. Then there are multiple capital cities, which also kind of creates problems because usually the capital cities are where players meet and where they kind of get to know each other. And on top of this, there are the alternative characters. So one player plays, let's say, 6 characters. You might be seeing that player a lot. But because every single time he is or she is playing another character and you are playing another character with different name, you don't really know it's the same players. So it's almost impossible to make any kind of in-game connection that way. And this is even worse when we consider the fact that the guilds are character-based. Basically, each character has its own guild. You might have your guildmates playing, and you would not know because your guildmates are playing different characters which are in different guilds. You don't see them. The game feels lonely. In my opinion, they should have kind of made the guilds rooster-bound and perhaps even remove the character names. Just give a name to the rooster so that players have a chance to see at least same names and get familiar with one another. Because this way, it really feels like some sort of mobile game with microtransaction and focus on single player mode, with a little bit of cooperation here and there. These are my main issues with the game: the progression and lack of sociality. This is unlikely to be fixed because it's not Amazon issue, it's the core gameplay that comes from Smilegate. The game would actually need Amazon to westernize it, which I doubt is gonna happen. So the only option left for me was to uninstall it. And now I am having withdrawal symptoms and I will have to find something else to play. Anyway, this is my reason. Thank you for helping me to get over this click. And Chozel for